Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Before I get into 23 disagreements I have with the governing class, and by extension society at large, I'd like to point out that we see racism is alive and well for many reasons. First of all, there is no black movement in America, okay, that is seen as respectable by the population at large or even a lot of the population. We see black conservatives, they know that they've sold out, right? They're house ones, as the story goes. They know that the Conservative Party is, full of racism. The Klan is a conservative organization. That puts it in perspective for you. We know that there's a spectrum, again, a spectrum of racism on the right. And there are no respectable black conservatives that are known to man. People like Candace Owens are highly controversial and they're not very respected. We look at the right? Black Lives Matter is not very respected, okay? They teamed up with certain elements of the Democratic Party and certain elements that are best described as unsavory, and they've stigmatized themselves to the extreme. No offense to anybody, these are the facts. We see Antifa is not respectable. We see the various Democratic hosts are just puppets. So there's no fair representation for a morally precise black man, and I'm really the only one, but some people think more like I do, right, in society. And that goes back to the fact that the Civil Rights Act was like in 64 or 65. Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968. Okay, that's not that long ago. Okay, that's like what, it's like 50, 60 years ago or whatever. It's not that long ago. I was born in the early 80s, and Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968. Some people who are like 100 years old right now, and they have children, right? So people and their children, okay, who were opposing the Civil Rights Act are still here today, and those sentiments, behaviors, moods, and tendencies are still with society today. Okay, so before I even begin this, let me make it clear, I don't agree with the governing class about the social order. Okay, I'm the most righteous person, I should be in charge. And on top of that, there isn't a single logically respectable movement in society, and that's because of the continuity of the white supremacy order of old, their old money families, their institutions, their social clubs, their political groups, you name it. So let's get into this, shall we? I mean, they've already lost, but let's start this. Point number one. I disagree with the governing class about whether it is okay to deliberately try to create a logical and understandable response in a target to set them up to commit a crime or to go to the psych ward or to be discredited. Believe it or not, by their actions, and everyone who's targeted can tell you that's the case, they're arguing that they think it's okay enough to do it. Point number two. I disagree with them about whether or not one should respect the above the law versions of Weinstein, Cosby, Bill Cosby and Epstein, assuming that they're all guilty. Okay, should I respect somebody who's allowed to get away with the things that Weinstein and Epstein and Cosby are accused of? And should I fall in line with their order? No, I do not agree with them about that. I should not do that. I should not agree with them, and I should not fall in line with their organized rape by deception orders. Point number three. I do not agree with them about whether it is obviously universal, whether what is obviously universal logic, reason, and morals, which obviously transcends mere shallow social norms, should reign or not. Okay? They don't think that what is obviously universal logic, reason, and morals, which obviously transcend mere shallow social norms, should reign. And I do think that morals should reign. Point number four. I don't agree with them about whether they should wait until I am dead to do some laughable version of justice or not. They should do true justice right now. Point number five. I disagree with them about the fact that there is no worthwhile show taking place. Politics, celebrities, the churches, the dating, people in nice restaurants, you name it, okay? They're not doing anything that is so important that they have to suppress the most righteous person that ever lived to try to not take away from what they're doing. Obviously, they believe that they are, and that's part of their arguments. It's mixed in there. Point number six. I disagree with them about whether it is smart to persecute me or if it is something that someone who knows their actions isn't smart should do anyway. So in other words, if they think that they should persecute me, I disagree with them. And if they think that that they shouldn't, but they can't help but doing it, so they're going to do it. I disagree with them about that. They should not do it anyway. So go ahead and at any time pause, rewind, take notes, ask questions. Point number 7. I disagree with them about whether one should exercise free speech with universal pinpoint and moral precision to the best of their ability or not. I believe that they should. They believe that they shouldn't. And that's why they're suppressing my videos, what have you. Point number 8. I disagree with them about whether they should covertly change my shape for the purpose of mocking me and doing social engineering operations. Okay. They shouldn't do it. They shouldn't change my shape covertly with fumes and poisons and edit my videos to mock me and to try to reinforce their social engineering operations. Point number 9. I disagree with them about whether people should have children in an evil world and whether or not someone should bring it up in truth. Point number 10. I disagree with them about whether they should acknowledge the persecution campaign against me or not. Obviously, I think that they should. And obviously, I think that people should be able to discuss, whether people should bring in children, honestly, and so on and so forth. Point number 11. I disagree with them about whether one can blame the groups they perceive to be responsible when they have evidence and there is no viable counterargument. I believe that whether it's blacks or Jews or whoever is doing it, whatever groups are doing it according to their deeds, and everyone's doing it, every group is doing it on a spectrum, okay? I disagree about whether you should be able to say, hey, it's blacks or whites or whoever, okay? And whether or not you should describe in detail to the best of your ability who's doing it and how. You should describe it in every way possible. Whatever role you think Christians, Muslims, Jews, atheists, light workers, New Age, whatever it is, you should describe it. Racial, sexual orientation, gender, you should tell the truth about it. We see on the left when they talk about a straight white male patriarchy is who they blame. They're not entirely right about that. But they bring it up to the best of their ability. So why can't I do the same thing? Okay. Where was I? And again, I'm not racist. I'm biracial, what have you. Okay. I disagree with them about whether people should explore the matter of universal and obvious truths versus the cognitive dissonance, right? The kind of group denial that we see in society, right? So which one is superior, what have you. Point number 13. I disagree with them about whether covert harassment and the honest response should be discussed. Honestly. Point number 14. I disagree about whether someone should try to save their own skin or whether they should put God first. Point number 15. I disagree with them about whether society should openly, honestly discuss these things, or if only corporate and clandestine groups should discuss them behind the scenes. I think that we should openly discuss this and not play stupid, and I think people should be honest about these things. Point number 16. I disagree with them about whether people should admit that major corporations manipulate both parties and the churches and apply this to their lives and arguments, or whether they should play stupid or not. Okay? They should tell the truth about all that stuff as well. And they shouldn't play stupid. Point number 17. I disagree with them about whether I should fear God only or fear them. I'm only going to fear God. Point number 18. I disagree with them about whether I should give in to their attempts to terrorize and coerce me. I'm not going to. Point number 19. I disagree with them about whether the FBI should investigate gang stalking even if they are involved. I believe that they should, and they should do an honest investigation, and they should make recommendations for compensation and all that. Point number 20. I disagree with them about whether people should value being a mature and fair adult. They should. Point number 21. I disagree with them about whether people should be allowed to resent their oppressors, especially if they feel moral outrage. Okay? I'm not one of these people that says fight the hate. If you have a good reason to really resent someone, okay, and hate in like a broad sense of the word, if you should hate them in a broad sense, not in terms of this unfair and evil kind of hate, but a moral outrage-based rejection, just a hate in that sense, I believe that you should be able to hate them in that sense. And they blur the line. When they talk about hate speech, right, I get videos taken down on TikTok for saying things like, it is pathetic for certain groups to do certain things that we all know they're doing, okay? And then I even say I'm not racist. I even put no offense on the video and everything, and they still get taken down. Okay? For example, there are some racist Jews, and the other Jews don't do much about it, right? There's a bunch of racist white Jew and LGBT corporations with token minorities, okay? And I talk about that quite a bit. And they feel like I'm pushing the line by saying that, but it's obvious, right? We see in the left wing, they talk about white guilt, white denial, white social norms, and a lot of Jews, some Jews are black skin, some Jews are white skin. And the white-skinned Jews are basically like white people, okay? And for saying that, you know, they want to take down my videos. And recently in the news, they're talking about how they wanted to make it illegal to say that the Jews killed Jesus. And here I am, the idea that Jesus is superimposed on. We can discuss that anytime you want. Okay, I have no problem discussing that, especially if people are respectful and honest and so on and so forth. Okay, and I'm being persecuted by a bunch of groups of people. And of the three major groups doing it, not the only groups, the major groups doing it, one of them are people of Jewish descent. And again, I'm part white. There's Jews in my family, extended family, my in-laws, what have you. Okay, I'm not racist against any group of people. I call it how I see it. And you can imagine when you're trying to be honest about everything and trying to get straight to the point, it can be pretty frustrating when they try to make it so you can't group people together by race. For example, when people talk about the Nazis, they grouped them together in a huge group, which basically includes like damn near every German at the time. Okay, when people talk about the government, they grouped them together in a huge group. Okay, when people think about the government, they think about it as being part of the white power structure. Why is it called the white power structure? They're wrong for many, many reasons. This is how you communicate these ideas, and they're extremely important ideas. And white people have a right to hear your argument and to decide for themselves whether they should agree or disagree that it should be put that way. And there's millions of liberals in this country who believe that it should be put that way. Okay, and who, you know, you people haven't proven that it shouldn't be put that way. So why would you then crack down on me for putting it that way, whether it's whites, Jews, LGBT, or any other race? Okay. Point number 22. I disagree with them about whether I should be allowed to pronounce judgments from God without being interfered with, mocked, and provoked and sabotaged in other ways. And the last point for this video is point number 23. I disagree with them about whether the state should use proxy groups to sabotage people's things, and hack their phones to support empty propaganda campaigns. Again, I disagree with them about whether the state should use proxy groups to sabotage people's things and hack their phones to support empty propaganda campaigns. Now, again, I'm not racist. If you think that I'm saying anything racist, please put a timestamp if you can, because I can review my annotations. I have trouble listening to videos. I have to only see annotations, subtitles. Okay. I'm hearing impaired to some degree. It's a long story why that is from being targeted. If you think I'm being racist or you think I'm being unfair to white, Jewish, and LGBT ladies and gentlemen, please let me know immediately, okay? Some gentleman commented in the comments, he looked like he's of white descent or something, and he says I'm being fair in his own way, right? He says I tell the honest truth and so on and so forth, okay? I didn't tell him to say it. I didn't pay him to say that. It's something he said on his own, okay? I'm a fair person. I derive my pride in being fair. I wouldn't want to live a moment on this planet while being unfair. I don't care if it kills me. I'm going to do God's work. That's what I'm concerned with. I'm not a black supremacist. Again, I am not a black supremacist. I'm a moral supremacist. If you want me to be a black supremacist, I suggest you stop trying. I suggest you stop wanting that. I'm not going to be a black supremacist. I'm a moral supremacist. I do what is fair. Thank you.